Alright, hello. Welcome to the stream. Still trying to figure out, here we go. Just trying to figure out why the volume was, pretty low on everything. I think I figured out why. I also, let's see here. Also trying to get Spotify going. Decided to just do it on the, oh, and of course we don't have the cropping right. Let's do that real quick. Okay. So this will be a short stream today. Just playing a little bit of poker here. Looks like our graphs are not updated. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And our bankroll's up to 136 today. All right. So now we got this Spotify audio on Discord, so you can listen on Discord if you want. Otherwise, there'll just be no music for the stream today. I can try to add a text box here. Let's see. Do we want to call a 3-bet with a 10-5 suited? I don't think so. No. Probably a good call. Alright, let's see if I can add this some text real quick. Okay. Sweet. So probably just gonna be playing for only about half hour, 45 minutes or so, and then I gotta head out. Some grocery shopping done. We have a suited ace-2. We do get the flush draw. I think we'll c-bet it. We don't need to go too high. 50% pot is reasonable here. We do get a call. We do get the flush, so I think we just continue c-betting at the same 50%. See what he does. We have the nut flush. I think we try the same 50% bet just to try to make our actions kind of ambiguous to him and see if we definitely re-raise if he bets. No, he doesn't. Okay. Probably just didn't have it, I guess. In which case he probably wasn't going to call any bet. That's my suspicion there. But we do start with a little bit of a win, so that's nice. Alright, so 9-3, cut off. I'll let that go, especially to overbet from position 3, or seat 3, I should say. He is under the gun, so under the gun with an overbet is definitely going to be something strong. We get a call from the dealer, which is interesting because he kind of opens himself up to getting re-raised from small blind or big blind. We'll see what happens here. These players are gonna just limp or I mean, well, not limp, but call. Small blind decides to fold. Big blind also folds, so it is heads up. between the dealer and under the gun, and it's a check through. Odd. And then, and then an all in and a fold. Not sure what that hand was about. That was interesting, to say the least. This is low stakes poker, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we get. Check through on the flop, and all in on the turn. I think in that case it's just blaringly obvious that he makes his flush, and the other guy is not interested. So maybe we just need to make sure we know that this guy is just pretty transparent with his bets. We'll steer clear if he overbets us. Here we would have had the straight draw, but I don't think we would have stayed in. So our same crazy villain from the previous hand decides to bet the turn, and we'll see what happens here. All right. Let me know if the audio is messed up. I didn't test the actual levels on the poker sounds, so hopefully those aren't too annoying or loud. We do get a 3-bet from Big Blind. We'll see what the cutoff in the small blind decide to do. Cutoff was, I'm guessing, the original better. He has a 30% VPIP over 13 hands. So it looks like he just folded. All right. And unfortunately, we don't get anything to play with, so we'll just let this go. And maybe we'll play something a little more interesting on Spotify here. All right, so no bet on the flop. We get middle pair, and our middle pair might be good. We're just gonna try to get to showdown with middle pair here. I think we're just gonna take it down. Yeah. I think I'm okay with that. No reason to be betting there, I don't think. I think we're gonna let 6-jack offsuit go from the small blind, and we will look to the next hand to make our move. Okay. Okay. Checking my audio equipment here. And 10-3 is also not good enough to play, so we'll just wait for the next hand here. Suppose I could have used this time to study poker instead of play poker, but that's alright. Maybe we'll study more tonight. Hopefully everybody's day is going alright. For anybody just watching, we're just gonna do a short session here, about a half an hour. Try to make a little bit of money. We are up about 60 cents or 15 big blinds, which is nice. And looks like this hand, we have Rainbow King High, and the cutoff decides to bet about half pot and takes it down. And 4-5 offsuit's also not going to be good enough to play, so we'll let it go and continue to watch the rest of the table, try to collect some data. Interestingly, player 3 has a 76% VPIP, so he's put money in 3 out of every 4 hands. Compared to everybody else at the table, 24, 29, 13%. So hugely hugely outlier in terms of a massive outlier in terms of the statistics. So the board pairs here, we have 2 6s, 2 2s. Player 3 decides to just continue barreling every single turn. Maybe he has a 2 or a 6 here, and he does have a 2. Wow. I mean, I suppose when you have a VPIP of that high, then people tend to not believe you when you have it, and that's the situation he was hoping for and got in that case. He just kind of stumbled upon a full house there and managed to take it down. So good for him. We have Queen 10 offsuit, not great. In fact, under the gun, actually, that was a mistake. We probably shouldn't have played that, but we take it down anyways because our percentage played so far is just dismally low, and so I think everybody just believed us that we had a big hand there. That is one way to deal with just bad hands, is try to take down some pots pre-flop or, through bluffing. Probably don't want to do it at too big of a percentage, but when you're looking at 10 or 15% hands played, gotta make something happen. Otherwise, you're just gonna get creamed by the big blinds. Alright, so our player 3 wild player limps, and then we get a raise from the small blind. So with an ace 7 offsuit, we could call here. Yeah, we'll call. I actually think that was probably a bad call in retrospect because it was 3 ways. This guy could have re-raised me here. So we're just gonna fold here. Let these guys duke it out. So I think that was just a mistake there. The range says to play ace 7 offsuit there, but that is, the range assumes heads up, small blind versus big blind. So when the dealer is also playing, a lot of the math changes. And generally speaking, as a player, you want to be more conservative on multi-way pots. So I should have kind of tightened my range in that spot and let that go. All right, so facing another limp. Let's just bust out our limping ranges here. So 9 jack offsuit is neither a raise or a limp, so we let it go. I mean, if player 3 is going to limp every hand, certainly we can start to try to exploit him. Yeah, he's just very loose aggressive here. I mean, he's playing almost every hand. So we just kind of have to sit and wait for our good hands and then try to string them along. Okay, so 9-7 suited, not a bad card here. Our villain folds, so we're gonna play this. And it's definitely possible we just get 2 folds here. Because we have a pretty tight image at the table right now. Even if they have a HUD, we're the second tightest player at the table so far. All right. So 6, 7, 9, 10, we have 4 outs to the straight. No pairs. Backdoor flush draw. We could bet here. I think I'm going to check it through and try to get another card here. So 5, 6, 7, but no 8. So we still do not have a straight. Our backdoor flush draw is gone. This guy probably realizes that if he has a 5 or a 6, he has his beat. But he decides to check instead. So we're just going to try to put a small bet out here, I think. See if we can just take down the pot. I guess not small, but half pot. Maybe just trying to bluff him out of the pot here, but he decides to call. And we do get a pair on river, so we have some equity here. I think if he checks, we're just going to check it through as well. It's possible he was trying to slow play a king here if he's calling our bet. So I think I just want to check and see what I get. And yeah, he has pair 10s. So he's not folding there if we bet. And we get a raise from the villain under the gun. We have cutoff position, so the chart says to fold it. And so we will. Oh wait, actually, did I misread that? I did misread it. The chart says to bet it. I'm gonna try limping and see what happens. I don't feel super strong here. Or sorry, not limp, but call. We get an all in. I think there's gonna be some pocket pairs here with an all in, so I don't think there's any reason to call. I mean, it's possible he had junk there. Huh. Slightly disappointing. Does set us back down to 0 or neutral for the rest of the day. We get re-raised. The question is, do we 4-bet or call? We're in cutoff. We're in position. Chart says don't do it, so we'll let it go. All right, we have ace, queen, queen. 2 spades on the board. Obviously, our hand's no good, but I really want to see. It looks like our villain, the wild villain, is up against the second biggest stack at the table. One's 255 big blinds versus 168 big blinds. So, and we get a small half pot bet and a call. We get a check on the river. 3 of spades brings in the completed flush. Let's see if our shorter stack decides to bet. And he does bet a full pot bet. And suddenly our villain seems to be maybe turning on his brain. And he takes it down with 3 queens. That was impressive. Our villain with the short stack didn't seem to have much there. Not sure what the heck he was doing. Let me take a look at that in the replayer. Our villain had 9 king for literally nothing. But he decided to just bluff it, I guess. So our wild villain was 75% VPIP. Actually, it was played that excellently. I suppose he's just kind of I mean, if his image is to call everything, I don't know. I think that maybe it was just a giant blunder to try and bluff the loosest person at the table with nothing. The loosest person's going to call every time, so why try to bet there with nothing? Not really clear. And now it seems they're just upset at each other, and short stack just threw another 20 or 30 big blinds towards our wild strategic player. Interesting. So we have small blind, queen 6, probably not good enough, especially playing against a button open. So we're just going to let it go. We have about 15 minutes left on the stream. Like I said, we won't be doing a whole lot today, just kind of chilling. All right. So, and of course we continue to be card dead. Let's watch what happens with the other players here. So our under the gun wild player did bet, and he gets 1 call. And now so under the gun is player 2. Our wild player is in player 3 in the hijack. But anyways, heads early. Gotta have more caffeine here. Switch to tea. Kind of looks like coffee on the stream, but trying to maybe do like a slow drip of the caffeine. I got my teapot here. We have the kind of loose leaf brewer. This is kind of cool. So just put the leaves in there. It sits in the hot water. Does its thing. And since I brewed it in the morning, it's nice and cold. So now it makes iced tea. It's not really iced. It's just room temperature. That's all right. It tastes fine. I will take room temperature iced tea. Room temperature tea. All right. So wild villain, 3 bets. Will he get a call? He does get a call. From one player, possibly another. Let's find out if this is going to go 3 ways. Ooh. Cutoff goes all in. Wild player calls. Pair of 9s versus king, queen, spades. The king comes in. Our hero ends with a full house. Well done, hero. We get pair of 4s. It's actually the very bottom edge of our range. We probably should have asked the RNG if we should have played that or not. That's all right. I suspect player 3, our wild villain, is maybe just getting really good cards. And unfortunately, like, we're just not getting good enough cards to call all these bets. Be nice if we did get some good cards to actually call these wild all-ins with king, queen, and things like that, but not much we can do without the cards. Apparently, there is a genre of mobile games called idle games. Has anybody heard of this? Apparently, like, it's like plays while you're not watching it, and you just kind of like check in on it every once in a while. I did not know this was a thing. So I'm playing a game that's just like equations. It's kind of hard to see here, but that's literally the game. Is just math. uh yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I was literally clicking buttons on this math game for an hour on the flight. It had me hooked. It must just like they just know how to hit the dopamine triggers, I guess, through social engineering hacks. I don't know. Can't play 9-7, so we just let that go. All right. Hopefully you guys are listening to the Spotify. It's some good music. I'm enjoying it. And we definitely wouldn't have had anything on this board. 3 spades come up and a pair of kings. So definitely potentially a wild board here, but it looks like our hero takes it down without a showdown. Now we get queen 6 suited in the button. If our villain decides to fold, then we would call here. He decides to limp. So we take a look at our limp range. Button over limp does not include queen 6. It does say to raise queen 6, so we will do that. See what happens. All right, so we have a pair of 6s. Our wild villain does call here. So I think we just check for pot control and we get the flush draw. Low pair. It's possible, certainly possible he has an overpair on us. But with 2 big blinds, we definitely just call. And so we do not get our 3rd club, unfortunately. So he checks. I'm gonna just bet here and see what he does. He may fold if he's... And he disconnects. Interesting. I just blew his mind by betting him now. I mean, in retrospect, I guess I'm just trying to get some value if I do have a pair and he has nothing. Certainly with 73% hands played, his chances are he has nothing. But if he has an ace, he has a speed, and he's just gonna slow play us. Oh, instead he decides to leave the table. Interesting. Maybe he just timed out. Lost internet or something. So with ace 2 offsuit, we're gonna let that go. Alright. Ace 7 offsuit. Well, low jack? No, we let it go. Alright, so we have about 5 minutes left in the stream. Just hoping for some good cards, I suppose. Not much we can do at this point. It's like we're gonna end the stream a little, 4 big blinds down, which isn't too bad. Get king 3 in the small blind, also not, well, chart says it's bettable if nobody else bets to us, but that seems to be pretty unlikely at this point. Yeah, and we'll fold, bet from under the gun. And the under the gun gets raised by the button. We'll see if he decides to call or not. It's been a pretty wild table. I think everybody's just getting a lot better cards than us. I don't know what else to say. And 8-7 offsuit again, not, well. Alright, well that's the RNG. No, but to a bet, we'll fold it. Eight 5 again, not really playable. Hopefully everybody's day is going alright. I have to go to traffic school tonight. I was go for 45 and a 35. The street changes between 45 and 35. I thought I was good. I thought I was exactly at the speed limit, 45. Turns out not so much. And in Oregon, they have like photo speed traps. So they will just take your picture if you're speeding on a street and send you the ticket. So don't speed in Oregon like you do in California. Pro tip. Usually I don't speed. Usually I know that they have photo traps, so I try to stay the speed limit all the time. But I was just honestly confused by the street because it goes, I think it even is higher than 45 at some parts of the street. It's like turns into like a 3 or 4 lane highway, and then it funnels down to like a 2-lane city street. So, of course, they set up the speed trap in the most confusing part, which is the transition between the two. And so they got me. I'm sure I could fight it, but if they're going to offer me traffic school, I'll just do that. Call it a day. Probably would take me 4 to 5 times the amount of time to fight it versus just going to the traffic school. Paying the fee for the traffic school versus the fee for the ticket. If work's paying me, what's work paying me? Somewhere around 75 an hour. It's not really worth 5 or 8 hours to fight a ticket in court. Not really worth it. If they're just gonna charge me $50 to go to traffic school. So it is 3:30. Probably time to head out here. I will let it go one more orbit. Or we'll wait. We'll quit after we get dealer chip. And still nothing playable here. All right, and again, nothing. So, guess just an off day today. Didn't really get any cards to play much with. A pretty wild table, which means we kind of got to be conservative and try to play strong hands. Oh, we take down. This table's just not great. That's alright. In the small blind, not facing any action, Jack 9 offsuit actually is bettable. Obviously very low equity spot here, so we would really kind of have to play post flop well, but my suspicion is that this guy is going to fold. He has a all right. So again, we get 8Q offsuit, another hand that, let's just ask the RNG if we should play it. Above a 50, we'll play it. Yeah, okay. RNG says, last hand, go for it, bud. And, but again, we have to be very wary. This is a very low equity position here. And we get 2 calls. And we get nothing on the flop other than we have 2 cards to the straight, so 1% chance of making the straight. We won't bank on that, obviously. So 5-6 would get us there, or 6-10 would get us there. So we'll check through, and we do get the 10. So now we have 4 outs for the 6. And our pot, let's see what the pot odds are. We need 10% pot odds. We're facing 20% pot odds, so I think we'll just let it go. I mean, I guess we would also have 4 outs or 3 outs to the queen. So 7 outs, we would need 15% pot odds, but we are facing 20%, so we'll just let it go. And yeah, probably a good thing. Well, actually, that 7, 8, 9, 10. So the jack would have made us the straight there as well. I guess I actually did my math wrong there. Oh, but it looks like somebody else had the 8 as well, so we would have split the pot with him. So I think I did them. I guess I did my math wrong. I didn't realize I was looking at an open-ended straight draw. I forgot that the jack would have made us straight after the 10 came in. So that would have been 8 outs plus 3 to the queen would have been 11 outs, and that would have given us about 22% chance to make it. And that, well, I guess our opponent had the straight, so if we are just looking at outs to the straight, we would have had 8 outs, so that would have been 17% chance to win, and facing 20% pot odds. We probably still should have folded there, although it's debatable. But anyways, yeah, thank you for watching. Unfortunately, I gotta go run errands today, so